Hey guys, so today with the Nacet blade we're looking at 462. This is shave 462. Chiseled face midnight stag for the month of August, and it is going to have the matching cologne. The right after the shave liquid is the splash, that is Stirling City Slicker. The brush and razor we're going to use today, the razor is the stainless steel 68 gap timeless open comb. Wonderful piece. And the brush is the Semogue Owners Club Taj handle, and soaking in some water. The razor blade we'll go ahead and put in the razor. I'll do my usual method here, and hey, you guys want to see a quick little Williams lather? I've got this Yaqi bowl here soaking. Why don't we do it? This is that both of these Michael Freedberg gave me, and this is a 24 millimeter Yaqi unbleached boar brush, and it's very, very stiff, but I've only used it twice, so that's kind of to be expected. It may also be a trait of the unbleached boar brushes that they have a lot more backbone than their bleached counterpart. And what I'm going to do, and I've got such a narrow, this is a Hazel Atlas mug, I think, yeah. And it's very, you can see those on eBay. It's definitely one of those vintage things. And you can see I don't have a lot of room to move around. And so the technique I've kind of adopted is more of a twist. Or not a twist, but a conical rotation style. So if you do have a cup that you like to use that's maybe kind of vintage or something, then you can try this style instead of just a normal circle. And so we just loaded for a bit with a very wet brush, and then we'll get going, and I can feel the stiffness. You can hear the clinking. And with Williams, I'm going to make more videos. At first I thought, well, because Williams is now discontinued, this is not something that a lot of you guys can go to a local grocery store and buy like you used to. And so maybe videos about Williams are not going to be as relevant. But then I thought, you know what, if I can get a really good Williams method down pat, and I've already got some Williams, a good many Williams videos out there. My best lather made by Williams is one that just kind of takes too long, and so I thought, you know what, maybe I should put some Williams videos out there, and if nothing else, to help the people who do have pucks of Williams and treasure them, to make sure they're getting the best out of their Williams pucks. Now, you saw the bubbliness and the wetness that we started out with here, and all I did was just keep mixing. I think sometimes Williams doesn't like to have a lot of water right away, but it's a mug soap, and that makes me wonder, because some people start by just drowning the soap, you know. And see, already here we are. We're at a pretty normal place. Look, it's not bubbly at all. And then what I would do, I'm not going to take time to do it right now, but what I would do is have a little trickle of water going, just kind of gradually add a little bit of water, stir, add a little bit of water, stir, and then this is going to turn into something pretty neat. And so already, you know, you can see that it's a pretty decent lather. And so we're just going to add some water, and that'll help it to be even better. And just the slickness is tremendous. Man, this thing still has a ton of backbone. And so this is just to show you about Williams, but also to just give this brush another workout. Now what I'm going to do right now, use this to give my face a little pre-wash. So we're going to lather up to a small degree with this boar brush. It's got now you can see how it does not spring back to its exact previous shape, you know, like some of the more firm synthetics do. Now, I don't think that really took too long, and I believe a lot of people just wouldn't be unhappy with this lather right here. And that didn't take too long to put together. I consider it needing a little bit more water, but there's a lot of guys out there who like it drier, and so I really think it's a good soap. All right, so that's good enough for a face wash and to give these tips a little bit of exercise. So now let me rinse that off. Last time I think we loaded just maybe 4 seconds. I think I tried to load for 3 and I went for a little too long. And I think I ran into that problem before with the MDC because I just needed so little loading time with it once water kind of builds up in the soap with repetitive use. And so I actually switched to counting swirls. It was easier to do that than to count time. Shake off a lot of the water. Hey, oh, you know what? Let's do something different today. Let's go at it with a really wet brush. Why don't we change it up a little bit? Okay. I just pat it under the running water. It's got lots of, okay, let's just give it 1 or 2 shakes, okay? I have with previous brushes, let's do 10 seconds. With previous brushes, I have actually had a problem with loading it with lots of water because it seemed like when that 10 seconds, as you could see, went by kind of quickly. The water with the B2 brush from Zenith, and I believe it was Midnight Stag as well, maybe not this tub of it, but it actually slowed down the absorption. Maybe it made the tips too soft. It kept them from really catching in the soap. I don't know. So already, you know, we've got this kind of slurry in there, kind of how Williams started out, but we know that we can make a pretty good guess that if we just work it for a little bit, it should come together. Let's see if there's any difference between today's loading with a pretty wet brush versus the usual. Okay, so after just a little while, we've got a very airy, bubbly soap. Very easy to see a bunch of little tiny bubbles. Seconds could have been an overload, but since I was trying something new, I decided to change the time. And who knows, you could perhaps get the amount of water that you start with to be all the water that you need, and so maybe your process is just do a couple of shakes, work it in the bowl until it's right, and you don't need to add any more. If you were to do it over and over with the same soap and brush, I could see that becoming kind of second nature. Why don't we just go ahead and use this? My face is definitely wet from the previous thing. We'll see if I need to add any more water here. Kind of feels like I will, but just roll with it. It definitely feels like a drier lather. So I can just feel it on my face, different. And when you add water to your face like this, and look, you just see it start to be all profitable and start building soap on your face, building the lather, then you know that you've got kind of concentrate on your face. Now that may be what you like. You might like that kind of dry creaminess. And look, we're continuing to build up concentrate that we can keep pulling away. Matter of fact, look at this. I can probably take away my whole neck's worth. We'll put a few dribbles of water on the brush. We've just got tons of it. Another dribble on the brush. So I don't think you'd be able to actually start out, at least I wouldn't. If you loaded with for 10 seconds, that's just too much soap for all the water, for the little amount of water that the brush was able to hold early on. There again, I can trim on, and you see with each kind of trim, the texture changes. Big old splay. This is a legendary brush when it comes to big splay. Just kind of keep grabbing drips of water, putting it on there. And then you can kind of feel the moisture in the lather increase as I go here. I keep adding some dribbles to the brush, taking the excess away. I mean, otherwise it's just going to fall off. And I can feel the dryness departing from the lather, and I see even now it continues build up. All right, let's go ahead and go with that just for time. And I've got lots of lather in the bowl here. It's probably going to start spilling out if I really hydrate it as much as I kind of might like. Lots of lather means I have to rinse my hands more. Okay, first pass, timeless. 462 on the Nacet blade. Normal 24-hour growth we're cutting off today. As usual, try to maintain a very light touch, holding it right around the center of gravity. That's the way I do it. Keeps it able to flex and move over my skin like a shock absorber, going over the hills and down into the valleys. And rinse. A younger blade is going to take off more stubble in the first pass, but this one spreads out the love, gives the second and third pass a little bit more stubble to work with. And usually after about 4 or 5 passes, I have a nice close shave. And then whenever, and I can change razors if I want, if I'm not in like an Austere August kind of challenge. I'll definitely change up the razor and see what others I can find that might work well with this blade. The mild ones, pretty much cannot handle the blade at this age. I guess the blade angle, is all wrong. So it's more the aggressive razors or the medium aggressive razors, or just the ones that use kind of a totally different angle than a lot of the conventional razors do. There we go, second pass. Getting closer. Little rinse. Third pass now. No irritation on my face. So with that 10-second load, I did not need to have all that soap that particular load amount picked up. Now I don't feel very much stubble on my face here as I do the, I guess, third pass, right? Did I just say it and then immediately forget it? That's possible. Yep, there we go. Just a little touch up here and that'll be a very acceptable shave. I'll do a kind of a half rinse up here. Don't have to do full rinses at all. I've got tons of lather left. If 3 seconds yesterday gave me 5 passes of lather, you can understand why I have this much left over after doing 4 passes after loading 10 seconds. You know, I like shaving with that basin. I like the easy rinsing. The style of kind of rinsing and getting your face down in the basin, near the basin, and splashing the water up, using that to rinse, definitely connected me with my shaving past, my shaving forefathers. But one thing that I missed was being able to easily wash off excess lather from my fingers or the razor in this kind of situation where I just have so much excess lather. Yep, there we go. Very happy with that. Definitely a reasonable shave. It's not going to be good enough if you're a model, but I am not. It's not going to be good enough if you're maybe a high-priced lawyer or something like that, where you just have to look exactly top-notch. But for pretty much everybody else, it's a close enough shave to get the job done. So now I'll clean up my gear. Oh, but while I clean up my gear, I get to enjoy City Slicker from Stirling. And yeah, this splash has been a little bit different than the past with Stirling splashes that I've used before, because I didn't actually do a really good rinse here, but that's okay. I'll do that in a little while after I get to enjoy the scent. Normally the Stirling splashes will be potent and actually give me a little redness sometimes. Sometimes I have to purposefully wait to put them on until after maybe some witch hazel or an hour after the shave. But this one, maybe it's not quite mixed the same way, or perhaps the oils in those other splashes, the fragrance oils that are used, maybe those are just different than this one. Never know. And here's what the brush looks like after a good clean out and stropping on the towel to make sure we don't have any standing water in there. Now that the shave is done, I don't like to let the soap sit open. Some people let it be open for 24 hours after the shave, just to make sure that no moisture stays in the soap. Do that according to your own predilections and level of OCD. I've never had a problem only letting it breathe during the shave. capping it up later. My values, my priority is I want to preserve that scent. Don't want it to fade, so I cap it up somewhat sooner than some guys do. And no, just in case you're remembering from yesterday, in terms of the pipe, going out this little smoking pipe walk after the shave, I did not smell the Midnight Stag as I was smoking the pipe. I think the pipe was a Virginia, like I told you guys before, that particular one, and it's kind of strong, and so it did overwhelm what was left on my wrists from the cologne. I guess it might be different if I were to really coat myself in Stag cologne, but that didn't end up to be any kind of blending of scents or anything like that. All right, cologne applied, and that's it for today's shave. Thank you so much for watching. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You guys take care.